Hey guys, here. Today I'm going to show you a video of Detective Comics 1000. Right? It's celebrating the 80 years of Batman. There are multiple variant covers for this issue. So there is a variant cover starting from I think 1960s onwards, or right 60s, 70s, 80s, or I don't know, like something like that. So this is the variant cover for 2010, which is by my favorite artist Greg Capullo and Placencia, right? And that's why I picked this. There are other variant covers out there, really good. The one by Frank Miller is another one which attracted me, but this is too damn costly for me to keep affording and buying like all the variant covers. So I just bought one. Obviously I wanted one because I wanted to also, I'm not just a collector, I'm also a person who likes to read these books. So that way I feel, so this is also a cover, like as you could see, this is a BCW cover comic bag. And so there are pretty interesting why these are good, and it is made with comic collection in mind. For example, one thing you could see is when I take it out, it's not like both the sides of this cover are together, right? So there is no chance of this what do you say, sellotape sticking to the book, because you can just bend it and then pull the book like this, right? So that is the beauty of the BCW. Obviously it costs a lot more than what the other bags that you find in India. Anyways, let's go right in. And there are a lot of comic videos out there reviewing this book. I mean, you could please go check all of them. This is simply my review, and my take on how Detective Comics 1000 turned out to be. And by the way, this is a 96 page book as compared to an 80 pager, which was the Action Comics 1000, which came out close to an year ago with the Superman stories. And already there is a deluxe edition out for this, which has all the stories which is contained here, plus all the variant covers, plus it has two extra stories, right? So that has already come out. It's some $25 retailing in the US. Just giving you tips on, if you want to skip this book, you can directly go to the deluxe edition. I wouldn't suggest anybody to pick this book and then also go and buy the deluxe edition. I think that will be double dipping on your money. If you are a deluxe edition collector, go and buy that directly. So as you can see, the very famous artwork, which is from the first appearance of Batman, is shown here. And the main cover, which is not here, it's been done by Jim Lee, Scott Williams, and Alex Sinclair. I don't think it is covered anywhere. Yeah, it's not covered anywhere in this book. So see, like I said, it's through the decades variant covers. There is one by 1930s by Steve Rude, 40s Bruce Timm. I don't know both these artists. Even Michael Cho, I know him a little bit. 60s Jim Steranko, Bernie Wrightson, Frank Miller, I know, obviously we all know him. Alex Sinclair also is somebody who's familiar to me. Tim Sale obviously is familiar, is a big artist. He did I think the Long Halloween. Jock is also somebody whom I know, and obviously Greg Capullo, which is this cover, right? So there are set of covers here, and obviously it calls out the old one, Batman, Pop Kane, and please never forget Bill Finger, right? He took a lot of time to get his name as a co-creator of Batman, but finally it's up there, and we should all recognize that. So let's jump right in. So the first story is by my favorite author and my favorite artist, Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. It's called The Longest Case. This is an interesting story, I would say that. The challenge all these writers had to deal with in this book is that they have only few pages to work with and come out with the complete story, and that's always difficult, right? I mean, there's no background to it has to start off at some point and it has to end in few panels and few pages. So I appreciate the work and thinking that has gone into this. So there are many people out there who are complaining that these stories are not so good. They've been like put in just to get the Action Comics 1000 out, sorry, the Detective Comics 1000 out. Yes, it might very well be so. I'm not challenging that, but at the same time, it is a treasure trove of stories, Batman stories. I would not simply thrash it just because it is Detective Comics 1000, right? Very nice panel work. Obviously, that is something you could expect from Greg Capullo, right? It has Batman going through a set of clues which he's been hunting for quite some time, and right, and finally he figures out what all these clues lead to, and this is actually called this group is called the Guild. So basically, they had been putting all these clues out there for Batman to figure it out and finally reach them, right? So that's all to the story, right? And they just introduce him to the humongous amount of mysteries that is lying out there for the detectives to solve. That's how it ends. Next one features, obviously, the Batman book cannot go, a Detective Comics, such a big issue cannot go without featuring Joker in it. And right, so it is not a Joker story per se. It just I forgot where did they mention the name of the story. Do they mention it? I think it's in the end. So basically, Batman is going to a vintage store which collects all the souvenirs after the Batman's fight with the villains. Right? It shows a set of fights and what souvenirs has been collected. So Batman is basically after one particular souvenir, and that forms the crux of this story and what he does with the souvenir. Pretty interesting story. It is manufactured for use. Obviously, it is by Jim Lee, and the writer is Kevin Smith. So I'm not ruining the story. Go through it, but that's it. Next one is one which is, I keep forgetting. It's about a guy called Brody Knute, right? You can see the guy there. He has actually been a henchman for multiple villains throughout the Batman history. It's a few page story on what sorry, basically the thing is, this guy has been featured in multiple of these heists and multiple robberies and stuff like that, but he always screws up things, and that's why the villains hate him so much. They want to just kill him right at the end. So this is the story of that guy, and it's pretty interesting to find out who that guy is, right? So again, I don't know if I showed you who's the author of this story. Yeah, it is called Legend of Knute Brody. It's by Paul Dini and Dustin Nguyen, right? Next one, I'm jumping through because I don't want to waste all your time on this video. It's called the Batman's Design. It's some story in which Batman is chasing a set of robbers, and I kept forgetting actually. I read it like a month back, and right, yeah, yeah, it's a pretty straightforward story. I don't think there is anything much in this story. It's okay. It's called Batman's Design. It by Warren Ellis and Becky Cloonan. And the one is Return to Crime Alley by Denny O'Neill and Steve Epting. This is also an okay story. I was not very excited reading this again, but it brings out a lot of facades of Batman. That's the interesting part, right? We read one book and we see one side of Batman. We read another one. It shows a completely different take by a different artist and writer. So the interesting part of this book is it brings so many writers, so many artists together, and you see how different people, perceive them differently. Another one is called Blame. Right, this is a story before I think Batman came to Gotham. It's called Heretic by Christopher Priest and Neil Adams, right? So definitely no question. This also also brings us back to Ra's al Ghul, right? So that's the interesting part of this one. The next one is when now this one is completely a turnaround, like one where they show glimpses of Batman before Batman, of Bruce Wayne before he became Batman. Other one when Batman himself has become so old, right? It is like stories from Batman Beyond kind of thing, and it's called I Know. This is a good story. It's by Brian Michael Bendis and Alex Malley. Um, Pretty good, right? It shows the villains in a different shade, and it yet again shows how Batman is always a step ahead of everyone, right? And that is this story. This is the story with Penguin in it, who's the main part. And next one, I think it's called Last Crime in Gotham. It's by Jeff Jones and Kelly Jones, right? Pretty nice colors there. It's a futuristic story where they show the son of Joker, and this is it's kind of like a utopian story where they believe that everything is gone down, and that this is the final crime of Gotham, and all these guys can go back to living their normal lives. Next one is called The President, and it's by James Tynion the Fourth and Alvaro Martinez, right? It shows a lot of characters here who are part of the Batman family, and I think it's just a dialogue discussion, right? Yeah, that's all. That's all. It begins and ends so fast. I think it introduces you to Damian Wayne, and it's next one is Batman Greatest Case by Daniel and Joëlle Jones. That the number of writers and artists in this, oh my god. So this is Bruce Wayne visiting his parents' grave and coming back to the Bat family, right? Oh, this has a double page splash on the entire Bat family. I think this is a picture they wanted to take. Like you could see Batman saying cheese there. Unfortunately, it's slightly there is one. I mean, I wish I had the entire poster for this. It looks really good. Like even the symbol features there, if you could see that, right? So another one. This is a brilliant one with the art in it, right? It shows it shows a lot of characters. So that way, this is like a mesmerizing to watch. I mean, just don't read any story, just go through the panels. That itself is so mesmerizing in this story particularly, right? I don't know if I read if there is a name. Art by Jason Fabok and Brad Anderson, right? Okay, these are art by different people. This is art by Amanda Connor and Paul Mortis, right? I'm taking through the panels because I want you to take a pause and just enjoy the kind of artwork which is there in these panels. Nothing much more than that. Just enjoy. And this book is worth it for this kind of things, right? This obviously is the coat of owls. The Talon is shown here. Bane is shown here. Joker is shown here. Ra's al Ghul is shown here. Poison Ivy, Catwoman, everybody. So this book essentially is it's like a celebration of Batman more than anything, right? It shows different perspectives, then it brings together all the characters, and finally it ends with the introduction of his character is called Arkham Knight, right? And this story is called Medieval. It's by Peter J. Tomasi and Dow oh, I can't pronounce that. Anyways, that's how it ends, and this is just a write up of all the DC Comics people, the main ones working behind this. So that's it, guys. I took few minutes more than what I wanted to, but I wanted to take you through this entire book and just enjoy it, right? Very very well worth, and it should definitely be part of everybody's collection if you're a Batman fan. So that's it. Batman Detective Comics 1000. So waiting for many more Batman stories to come. Thanks for watching. Please do subscribe and like. Thank you. Bye bye.